Hello everybody, this is Evil Zone, coming with a live stream tonight, which is not Elite Dangerous, which the Twitch family is used to see me streaming over on my channel, evilzone_plays. But instead, we're trying out something else today. We're going to play Citizen Sleeper 2. A couple of weeks ago, I played the first one, and the moment I started playing it, I instantly regretted that I started playing it. Not because it's not a great game, it is a great game, but on the contrary, because the moment I started playing it, I realized, oh my god, this game was meant for streaming. Because it's text-based, there's no voiceover, it's got a great atmosphere, it's perfect for reading aloud. So I thought, damn, because nothing beats playing a game for the first time. Like, yeah, sure, I could stream part 1 now, but it wouldn't be the same. I would already know what is going to happen. Sure, it's a role-playing game, I can make different decisions, but I usually, most of the time, I play a game once and I choose responses that I personally feel those are the things I would do or I would want to do if I was capable enough. And so, yeah, it would not be the same. So I swore to myself that once I'll be able to purchase Citizen Sleeper 2, which came out this year in January, I would go ahead and live stream it. So right now I'm sitting at 0 minutes played. I have not started the game yet. Gonna leave that for us to do together. And yes, I'm planning to upload this to YouTube as well, and turn it into a series where every stream I'll be uploading until we complete the game. Hopefully you will enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I will. I hear it is similar to the first one, but taking some things and improving on them. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really looking forward to it. I really loved the first one, the sad cyberpunk-esque sci-fi story. And from what I hear, the two games are independent from each other, as in they play in the same universe, but they do not play, not even in the same area. So basically there is a company and they exploit people by cloning their minds and then remote controlling so-called sleepers with them. And in the first one, you were such a sleeper that tried to escape the company and make a living on a remote on a remote space station. And I think the second one, you are a similar sleeper, but it's taking you somewhere entirely different. Yeah, so that's all I know about part 2. And I'm excited to get started on it. Yeah, so unless there's any questions, I think we are going to get started. I am not going to be having any music play in the background, so I'm basically going to turn the Monster Cat playlist off while we play, so that we can have the soundtrack of Citizen Sleeper 2 play in full. Because if it's anything like the first one, it is creating such a great atmosphere. The Citizen Sleeper soundtrack to the first game is currently like my favorite playlist for just relaxing, chilling out, decompressing. I love to have it playing in the background while reading. It's calm. It has a little bit of a melancholic feel to it. So yeah, the song is almost over. Once the song is over, I'll turn the playlist off, and then we'll switch over. There's going to be a few hiccups at the beginning because, like I said, I have not started the game yet. So this means that I have not 100% figured out if it's going the way I want it to work, as in I am at first streaming off of my desktop screen, but I would much rather stream directly the gameplay screen. So I'll have to figure out if it works the way I planned it to, because I didn't want to start the game and set it all up, because I don't know, maybe the game starts with a cutscene and I don't want anybody to miss out on anything. So we're going to start right away. Hopefully there's not going to be any technical difficulties where I can't even get the actual gameplay to run. But yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. I brought my hydration as well, because if I'm going to be reading out aloud a lot, then I should also be able to hydrate. Is the voice level good? Is it too loud? Is my microphone cutting off when I'm talking or anything like that? If not, let's get this thing started. So, oops. Showing you all my streaming details. All right, you guys should be now seeing Citizen Sleeper. 0 hours played. So I'm going to hit play now, and we're going to see what happens. I'm excited. All right, it's got a press A to start. So that's perfect, because that means I can now, I can pause for a sec, make sure the settings work, and then we'll be back. Actually, I'll just go back to the chatting screen for now. And then I'll take a look at it. All right, seems to be working. Here we go. Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Victory. I'm so excited. Press A to start. I'm going to be playing this with a gamepad. So, are we ready? Here we go. Starward Victory. New game. Empty slot. Safe, risky, dangerous. We're not gonna go dangerous, because we're gonna go risky. Safe is for those on the story, focused on the story, low risk option. Broken dice are worth 1. Higher stress tolerance. Death is disabled. Risky, the intended difficulty for those happy to be challenged. Broken dice cannot be used. Standard stress tolerance. Death incurs a significant permanent penalty. Dangerous, for experienced players who want an unforgiving challenge with no second chances. Dice repairs require more components. Very low stress tolerance. Double energy depletion. Death is permanent. I'm going to go with risky. Welcome in, Cyrene. Also to Starnion, good to see you. I'm going to go with risky, because I don't want to beat myself up, especially not on a live stream. It should be fun. It should not be you guys watching me fail and die and then have to start over and over again. But at the same time, I don't want to do safe mode, because I feel like risky would be the normal mode. and safe would be the easy mode. So let's go with risky. Okay. Yeah, if the music is too loud, let me know, and I'll see if I can make some changes to that. Actually, let me check real quick myself. Oh yeah, let's turn it down to this level. This should be better. All right, we can choose our sleeper. That's the same as in the first game. There are different type of sleeper bodies, and you get to choose one at the beginning. So there's the operator. Operator sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own systems to reroll dice, a risky but potentially powerful move. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. That's what I played in the first game. I played an operator. The first game had 3 different classes. Let's see what kind of classes we have here. So Endure, yeah, they're weak on Endure, and they're strong on Interface. And they get to re-roll the lowest dice by using reboot config. The Extractor. Extractor sleepers are built to work at the coal face of corporate resource extraction. Often in hard vacuum environments, extractors have a high level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Their rally skill allows them to motivate those in their team, boosting their crew dice. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. But I like my intuition, so I wouldn't want to be weak on that. What worries me is that, just like on the other class, the poor skill is completely blotched out, where the other skills have little marks. I wonder what this means, because in the first game, you would start off weak in a skill, but you could still level it up, and you could get it on par with any other skill. But to me, this looks like they're taking a step further, and if you choose to be a certain class, that will mean that one skill will definitely be weaker than the others, which kind of makes it more interesting, I think, because then, like in the previous game, because of that, there was not so much of an impact that your class had, other than what you start off with. Whereas here, it looks like this would be in support of multiple playthroughs, because you didn't get to experience some of the things because you were just plain bad at that skill. So yeah, let's move on. There's another one, the Machinist. Okay, so it's the same 3 sleepers as in the first game. The Machinist sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extraction. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. Their focus skill allows them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel in it. Sleepers assigned to Machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. So it's the same classes as in the first one. And I think I am going to be the operator again. I like the idea of remote machines and drones. The Machinist also intrigues me, but the fact that the engagement skill is off the table, and the fact that I actually like to play more of the charismatic types of characters, I'm not sure I would want to take the Machinist. And the Extractor, intuition, I'd rather miss out on endurance than intuition. That being said, the first game, at the beginning, right off the bat, I was struggling because I had a low endurance, and at first, endurance was important. So we'll see if that is going to be the case again in this game. But if there's no objections from Twitch chat, I think I'm going to choose the operator. So put a 1 in chat if you're cool with me choosing the operator. All right, let's go with the operator then. Here we go. Unknown, a vast and dark interior. In the moment before waking, the dark space, before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually, these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then, it's context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then, emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles. Fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: the fear. It is scrambled, panicked fear, the drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear. An act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper. A familiar name. A mind copied, emulated. A body built, implanted. One person sleeping until their depth is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy, an emulation, a sleeper. That is what you are. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators, S and ARP, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden, you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes in a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt. A sharp smirk, but this ends here. We're looking at Lane, relentless, cruel, and on your trail. So this game starts off pretty similar to the first one. I'd have to play the first one again to confirm it, but the text was very, very similar to the first one. At least the first few lines. I'm already getting goosebumps. You already have no idea what's going on. It feels like too much thinking. Yes, it is a very story-focused game. Lots of reading. That's why I thought it would be perfect for live streaming it, because I can just read aloud. I always wanted to do a read aloud, read a story type stream, but reading books comes with its own set of issues, like copyright on books. Are you allowed to read this book? Are you not? But hey, Twitch is a gaming platform, And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm playing this game, and I'm reading the text so that my viewers don't have to read it themselves. But let's continue. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me? Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal, floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away, to the corners of your vision, to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters. This object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind, from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid roiling in the vial fills you with disgust. So just like in Blade Runner, these sleepers have a set-in timer so that they decay and die, fall apart, call it what you will, after a certain time, to ensure loyalty. Because if you run away, you're just going to wither and die. But apparently this Lane guy is supporting you with a stabilizer. With a stabilizer drug that normally the SNARP provides. You had similar arrangements in the first game too. Let's continue. Lane pockets the vial, but it would be wasted on you now. After what you have done to this body of yours. He looks at you with palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up. Lane barks the command, and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free. You are just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move. But you have ruined it all. No, but you have ruined all that. I'm sorry. Lane speaks louder over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it. But your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Mysterious savior. And while we are trying to figure out what this mysterious savior wants, unfortunately, I have to do some admin work because Twitch has decided to send a bot my way. Taken care of. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move. Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your wrist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink, slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you, and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on! He tucks the connector, clears, and pulls you up. You see the room you are in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here, pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember the station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through that place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead, and it floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. Now, unfortunately, my controller is no longer connected to the game. Can I get this reconnected? Guess I can't for now. Who are you? Who was that? Where are we? Who are you? You see a concerned frown cross his face. Don't mess with me, sleeper. That's not funny. He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for the answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station, no, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells. Shadowed by them, you open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me. Who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes. Panic, perhaps. You stare hard at his face. The slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He is speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process, and he lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on. The rig can't be far. Dark side, sprawling urban station. As you're led through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages, cycle after cycle. The rhythms of the station flowing over you, along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying you more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There, your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond, that moment, the residue of panic, of fear remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait. Your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead, you see the tunnel opens up into a white open bay, with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels, the docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it. One covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbone. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eyes, and you see he's playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphim, all right? He looks pain when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor, both of us. We did this so we could escape. We need to reboot you, to break your dependence on stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete, and he sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. I've got it. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Seraphim kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads! He bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait, a breath, then glide across to the door they were guarding. You look already panicked at the tightly sealed door. Its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Here comes the tutorial part. Since we're playing this for the first time, during scenes you may encounter skill checks, where you can perform certain actions using your skill. Like the dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guide section of the pause menu. Nope, still no longer working, that controller is. Continue. Hack the door. 50% positive, 50% neutral. Break the seal. 50% neutral, 50% negative. Well, it's clear. Interface is our forte as the class we're playing, so we're going to hack the door. Positive outcome. Stress relief. You shift to the control panel. Your fingers dancing across the keys without thinking. You access the maintenance layer and trigger a fire safety venting procedure. The panel drones out a klaxon, and the door pops open with a hiss. Go, go! Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching, fast across the docks, and quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphim is already at the rig's door inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open and you both rush inside. So now I wonder, if I had not hacked the door but instead forced it open, Would the alarm have gone off? Would this have already been the first difference in gameplay? Who knows? Quickly, Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on. The rig's drive rumbles into life and Seraphim slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. Ooh. As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of Darkside, and you drop in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked the ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is, you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. Stay silent. He shakes his head and then unclips from the pilot seat. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short, percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door, and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plant. He glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly. He sighs. We need to talk. Seraphim furrows his brow. Not now, sleeper. We need to forget, he flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than... He pauses again, unsure. Us, he sighs. We need to survive this thing first. Then maybe we talk. It's not fair, but the entire life of a sleeper isn't fair, so I'll just stay silent. I'm not fine with it. We've bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do. And there are plenty of opportunities here for us. If we can keep our heads down, turns back to the corridor, that's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along, hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's insides. So we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, sleeper, it's how to work. I'm going to get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract. You, he glances back over his shoulder, you keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphim stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through. He pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out in... He stops. I'll be fine. Seraphin drops his head, swearing to himself. Shit. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Stay silent. Seraphin stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open, and Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing, meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch! Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand, you see a stack of cryo chips. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies, he grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far off, all right? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he is gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. Think about Seraphin. It's hard to know what's going on inside Seraphin's head. Here he is, on some hapless escape plan with a friend who can't remember a thing about him. You try to imagine how close you both must have been for him to agree to this thing, but it is painful to think about. That's all gone now anyway. All you can do is move on. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into port. Welcome to Citizen Sleeper, Starward Vector. The game runs in cycles during which you can perform actions with your dice. Use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items. Progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time in the guide section of the pause menu. Use the mouse wheel to scroll your view. Select locations with left click, right click to leave location. So here's what I think happened. Because I used the mouse, it switched over into mouse mode. So let's see if we can switch that back. Welcome to the character screen. Here you can upgrade and configure your sleeper. On the left, you can upgrade your skills to improve the skill modifier applied to your dice when you undertake an action. To the right, you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. When upgrading your push, only one upgrade at each level can be active at once. You can configure which upgrade is active only while at a hub. But we have 0 points. So, how do we get to the menu? Map, rig, maybe if I hit escape? Options. Back. Yeah, controller is no longer there, it's just gone. Maybe if I replug it? Yes, that did the trick. All right, resume. Much better. All right, we can go back to the rig. We can go to the Hexport exchange. There's nothing else down there. Hexport docks. Hexport docks is a busy way station dock, and the Hexport exchange is the way station goods exchange. the dice I recall from the first game, basically, I mean, tutorials will explain this soon, but the higher the dice, the better your chances of succeeding. And whenever you do an action, you choose which dice you put into the action. There's still an element of chance, but not as much. Like, not as bad as rolling the dice in the first place. Like, you can choose the chances. Let's go to the export exchange, because we're trying to get some food. Hopefully there's some there. Actually, let's take a look at what we have in our inventory. We have 24 cryptocurrencies stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as chits. We don't have any fuel, and we have 2 boxes of supplies, food, water, and basic materials, packed and sealed for 0G use. But the guy said we should get something to eat, so... Okay, we just entered the rig. The rig is your ship and home in the starboard belt. While the rig is docked at a hub, there are multiple areas you can visit. Bunks, use dice to reduce stress. Galley, use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in dock at a hub, your crew will also help to gather resources to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on in the crew task menu on the left. They have a random chance of acquiring it at the beginning of the following cycle. A cycle is a day, basically. This clock is a cycle clock. It will progress towards an event each cycle, which this is on the run. But we want it to go to the exchange. In Citizen Sleeper 2, you perform actions by assigning action dice to them, like I just said. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed at an action. But your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right and will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have 3 outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous based on the outcomes it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. For more information on dice actions, check the guide section. Okay. We could trade scrap. We don't have any scrap, so it's not going to do us any good. Impress the brokers. Data brokers are the heart of the exchange. They show their knowledge by discussing decryption. Maybe if you can talk the talk. I need the interface skill for that. That's what I'm good at. And both feed into the rules of the exchange. The exchange buzzes with the conversation of commerce. This is a place where contracts are found. You just need to look. Okay, so this is more of the place where I'm probably going to find work. So let's back out for now. Take a look at the docks and see what we can find there. A busy way station dock. Chat to crews. There are plenty of crews milling around the docks and moving cargo. They could be a good source of info. Maybe they have the intel on where to find a good restaurant. Explore the docks. Export docks are a dizzying mess of braided cables and flickering signage, filled with busy spacers. Exploring is both thrilling and intimidating, and both play into export connections. The export docks thrum with life. There are contacts to be made here, and you are sure of it. Okay, so let's try. We could engage, or we could intuit, which is dangerous. But we have a 5, and I think a 5. No, I think a 6 is the highest you can get, but 5 is pretty good. So let's take a look. If we use that, we have a 50% positive outcome chance and 50% neutral. Let's risk it. Let's do that. We're working on it. Neutral outcome. That's too bad. You just press the clock. Clocks track your progress toward positive or negative events. Build by performing actions in the passing of cycles. Data brokers, rig crews. Oh, I forgot to read what the outcome was, but okay. We can try that again, or instead we can chat to crews. our dice are not as good anymore now. So let's see. That's a 25% positive outcome, 50% neutral, 25% negative. Let's chat to some crews. Or let's back out, and if this exploration already got us some new locations, because sometimes you get new locations by doing actions. So let's leave for now. Let's see. Oh yeah, sure enough. The Bends, a chaotic dockside bar. Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you starving. Different foods give different amounts of energy. All right, we can play Star and Stoker. Is a spacer gambling game played with custom magnetic dice. Chits are stashed in symbol-marked cans, and winning is ruthlessly luck-based. So we can make extra money by doing that, or we can buy a Ben's fry for 7 cryo. A plastic bag of flash-fried salt flag tubers. The Ben's fry brings spacers back to the scattered tables of the bar, cycle after cycle. All right, let's buy that. Let's buy a Ben's fry, make the purchase. Got some energy back, and let's make some more connections. Let's talk to some crews. Spotting you are a sleeper, a crew shouts across the docks at you. You give them a wide berth. That was a negative outcome. Do it again. Neutral outcome. You join a few spacers resting in the docks and pick up a few local tips. Almost done. Dice are getting really, really bad. Chat some more blues. Okay, let's take a look. Did we get some new locations? We did. We got the warehouses. Let's take a look at the warehouses. Freight loading, that's endure. I'm really bad at endure, so if I did that, 50% negative outcome. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Warehouses are at the Hexport docks, supply the industrial operations of the station, meaning they need constant loading and restocking. We would probably make some money doing that, but let's instead head back and chat some more. Because I think even if we get a negative outcome, we did get connections. So let's try. 50% chance of neutral, 50% chance of negative. Let's see what happens. We lose energy, that's what happens. But the connections, the cycle is full. You need to end the cycle at your ship, the rig, to re-roll them. Oh, because we don't have any dice left. All right, but usually once one of these circles are full, we get a conversation from that. So let's back out and see what happens. Hexport, busy industrial station. As you're gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation, drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphim told you, keep your head down. So rushing in is a bad idea. We could try and cause a distraction. 25% chance of a negative outcome. Or we could wait it out. Huddle of figures shouting back and forth. One man in the middle, surrounded, being pushed around. He wouldn't be rushing in, obviously, but causing a distraction, maybe he can run away. Yeah, let's do that. We need to help this poor fella out. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, you look around for something that could break up the fight. You see the thick cooling pipes running down the alleyway, the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley, violent jets randomly bursting into the air. There's a scramble in the alley, and you spot the figure who was being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then your vision instantly fills with pale liquid as a jet of coolant jumps out nearby, missing you but sending you spinning in 0G. After a few moments, you manage to steady yourself. As you do, you see a clear alley, the assailants having fled, with one figure gliding towards you. I suppose you think that was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You like to break up fights. You didn't start? He laughs. Belt's gonna eat you up. Femi, stubborn salvager captain. He shifts the large bags on his shoulder, weightless but unwieldy in 0G. How about some thanks? The man's eyebrows shoot up. You think I needed you back there? You're the weirdest one I've met, that's for sure. You watch the man go, and then, after a moment, he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looks down as he does. What's your deal anyway? He sighs. Maybe you're new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. I know what it's like. To get beat up? The man shakes his head. Hexport's got real rough. Look, let's not hang around, all right? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. I gotta say, one thing I really like about the storytelling in this, we're on a space station, and we escaped a space station. If I understand this correctly, those are two separate space stations, but both did not have gravity. So it's talking about us floating to places, pushing ourselves off. That wasn't the case in the first game. The first game had a space station that was rotating, creating artificial gravity. I like that. I like the fact that this is factored in, just adds some more flavor, makes it feel more in space. Especially because I usually play Elite Dangerous, and when you're on foot there, you get to walk around just like in a regular FPS game, but if you're on a space station that is not rotating, you'll always get a message saying, like a computerized voice in your outfit, letting you know that your mag boots have now activated. So there is no gravity, but you still have gravity. Apparently we don't have mag boots here, so it's kind of interesting. Let's continue. Simple crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Simple crash. Okay. Femi, you bringing in strays? A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Mia, headstrong and spirited salvager. Yeah, exactly, Cyrene. The real inconvenience of zero gravity. Nia. Femi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder, helped me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks. She smiles sweetly. And I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance. Just in general. Nia, Femi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you, but stays silent. Factory row won't take these. Femi hefts the bags. I'm gonna load him back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the symbol crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking. Or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs help more than he admits. What do you mean? She tenses. I don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I shouldn't have said anything. She pauses, thinking. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath and gives you a direct look. What's she building up to? Are you looking for a crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you are in Hexport, maybe you're with a crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you're looking? Why do you ask? I mean, it's obvious, but that's what I would be asking. Especially because I can't say yes, because I need to talk to my friend Seraphin first. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest. Being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know? But he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? Honestly, like Seraphin said, they're looking for a duo. If I turn this into a trio, that would also help throw us off the trail, and we wouldn't have to split up. Welcome in, Cyberpunk. Welcome in, Chromapunk. Good to see you. Actually, you know what? Let me give you guys a shout out. I'll start with Sareen. What? These NPCs acting like assigned nice people NPCs, and it's a little on the nose, unless of course they mug you later, in which case I'll retract my statement. Well, I'll tell you, Cyrene, if it's anything like the first game, there are friendly characters and there are unfriendly characters. There were in the first game, there were characters that seemed friendly at first, and then backstabbed you hard. So it could go either way. I really love the first game for that. I loved it. I had zero complaints about the first game. And so far from the reviews I saw, I didn't look at too much, but what little I saw was that this game overall just improves on the first game. So we'll see. So let's go back to the game. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna say, shouldn't I ask your brother? I know she's gonna hate that, or I'm pretty sure she's gonna hate that. But I want to be friends with everybody. You know, that's just how I am. So I'm not gonna say yes. I could say I'll think about it, but I'll let her know. If we're doing this, her brother needs to know. So, shouldn't I ask your brother? That is exactly the point. She shakes her head. No, you should not have to ask my brother. Her eyes flare with anger. She catches herself. Sorry. She pauses. I'm a good salvager, all right? You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, weighs in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Bemi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi. He makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs, then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. All right, so there's nothing. Is there anything new? Oh no, the docks disappeared. So there's nothing new we could do on the docks. But we don't have any dice anyways anymore, so we can't be doing anything. Oh, you have the first game, Chromapunk? Yeah, you know what? I mentioned it earlier, but the first game, literally, the second I started playing, like after choosing your character, I was so mad at myself because I instantly knew, oh my god, this game would have been so great for streaming as a, not just as a let's play, but as a first time play. Like literally, when I started this part 2, I had not started it. I started it today live on stream. Because I want to experience it for the first time together with you guys. So, with that being said, all that's left to do for this cycle, a cycle is a day, all that's left to do for this cycle is go to sleep. I mean, we could go and eat some more to replenish some energy, but we're gonna go to the bunks and go sleep. Oh, wait. No, that's rest and recover. Ah, I see. So there is an end cycle up there. That's what we're going to do. End cycle. But you should definitely go back to the first game and finish it. It's awesome. I loved it. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphin leans into the bunks as you are getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling on your clothes, and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphin is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphin inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the zero-G engine room. You know what these are? No, tell me. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air. And before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We are lucky the reserve tank is empty. Otherwise, he shakes his head. It would have been bad. But he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means that the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. We need to leave. No doubt, Seraphin grimaces. We're going to need to fix this. Otherwise, no one is leaving. Seraphin whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We will need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So, how about you try to track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters, Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Factory. Okay, I'll take a look. Seraphin keeps working. Wait! Seraphin pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like a tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. Shit. You said it, Seraphin sighs. Which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution, I don't know. He looks down. I'm no shipfitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. So I wonder if we had chosen the engineer, would we have been asked to repair this stuff? You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphin's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Yes, Irene, I might need a scavenger to help, right? Fuel feed lines, that's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. You've discovered a drive. Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. The arrow button on the top left opens the drive menu, where you can choose which drive to track. Once a drive is tracked, a yellow marker will be placed above any location that relates to that drive. Drives come in two types, major and minor. On completion, a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points and a minor rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as you progress to see what new opportunities and objectives are available, and track those you want to pursue. Okay, let's look. Major, Lane is hunting you, and Hicksport isn't far from Darkside. Refuel, repair, find what you need, and then leave before he finds you. Yeah, we're going to track that one, of course. All right. What can we do now on this bug? Rig galley, shipboard kitchen. It's engine system. Oh, maybe we can try and repair ourselves. No, we can fit the feed lines once we found them. All right. So let's head out. There's a new location, Factory Row, Ramshackle Fabrication Center. Maybe we can find stuff at the exchange though. And maybe... Oh, it looks like the ship is not available right now, so we can't hire that scavenger right now. By the way, is the music too loud, or is it just fine? Let me know. Factory Row, Ramshackle Fabrication Center. Search the row. Factory owners of the row speak mostly in terms of supply and demand, but going door to door might help you find the ship fitter you need. Haul materials. Factory Row is filled with workers hauling material through its zero-G corridors. Helping might win you some fans among the factory. And both feed into trusted supplier. Oh, looking at our dice, this is a very, very bad round. Let's go back for a second and look at our operator sheet and see what does reboot do. Reboot config. +1 stress to reroll 1 lowest die. I think we should do that. I think get at least 1 good die or some stress. But it is grayed out, so you can use that skill yet, huh? No dice damage on push reroll or reroll +1 dice. I think no dice damage is better. Yeah. Okay, balancing's fine. Thanks, Irene. Oh, okay, we need points for that. Never mind then. Alright, we'll have to deal with the cards we've dealt. But dangerous and endure is not a good combination. So we'll just search the row. 50% chance of negative. We might as well just go to sleep, honestly. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's try. Negative outcome. You ramble through some attempts to discuss scrap. You've used all your energy. We're now starving. We lose an extra energy per cycle. Okay. This is not good. And it's all negatives. Neutral outcome. Alright, that's something at least. Do it again. You spend as much time listening as you do talking and seem to make some headway into negotiating a contract. Did we get any new places for that? We did. Swift scrap soul. Material processing. What is that? Data diffusal shift. All scrap yards have paid data diffusal work to offer, as old tech tends to be laced with protocols, countermeasures that need disabling. Scrapyard shift. Swift Scrap Solutions, or Triple S, as it's known locally, is a chaotic and slightly terrifying scrapyard where open shifts are always available. And we can sell raw scrap. Triple S is constantly processing scrap for the factories in the row. They'll pay good money for raw hull plates, but we don't have any, so let's go back out. Go back to factory row and try to search some more. You have little trust with the factories. Now the trick is not to waste it. All right, we've filled up the trust supplier. Export factories are picky about who they work with. Trust is the key currency here if you want to find a ship fitter. All right, but we've gathered all the trust we can. Hexport, busy industrial station. Factory row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind. Whirring factories precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Everywhere you look, there is energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector. And even the small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way, because of Darkside. That place and your memory of it are a muddy haze. But it is hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport, and that wild, flickering city growing in their back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row, you could almost be back in Darkside. And then you see them, tubes, just like those Seraphim had waved in your face, the feed lines. My vocal could use a little boost. Let's take a look at that real quick. Unfortunately, my vocal is at max. So, the only thing I could do is lower the volume of the BGM, and then you guys would have to up the volume. So I'll leave it like it is for now. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Karsten's Supply and block capitals cut from the hull plate. There, amongst an angled shelf of oversized chip components, sit the feed lines like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside, where the sound of Factory Row is a little screened, and spot a large figure working at a bench, hunched over, concentrating. It seems he doesn't notice you enter. I'll wait patiently. Nah, should I interrupt him? Don't want to startle him. I'll wait. You let him work, watching as, despite his heavy build, he delicately aligns the components, their layers slotting like puzzle pieces. After a few moments of observing the process, he turns his head a little towards you. Karst, intimidating shipbuilder. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. Nice place you have. You see little reaction from the profile of Karsten's face. He grunts. Something you need? Before you can respond, he tracks your eyes to the feed lines in the window. He looks back at you with a subtly changed expression, one you can't quite place. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Karsten's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old Murphs, then? He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. Oh, so he didn't say Murphs, he says MAVs. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Theraphin should have come along. I think so. Karsten squints a little. Right. Look. Karsten drifts over to where you're standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone. Let's say a few hundred cryo on clean chit. He shoots a glance at the feedlings. 400, let's say, to be precise. I don't have 400. Karsten looks you up and down and sniffs. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they are worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of the bartering type myself anyway. Barter sounds good. Karsten nods sagely. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and, well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hands. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there. Very old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it, he shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship, so it's been well left alone. But a salvager like you, with an old Solheim rig, I bet you wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. He smiles. I have a special interest and need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports, the material ledgers, or whatever they kept on that damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well then, I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Karsten pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Simple as that? Simple as that, he repeats in his monotone way. So, you interested? He glances back at his workbench. Because I'm a busy man. I'll do it. All right then. He holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and as you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. Karsten pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, all right? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates. And then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air, Karsten having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Karsten's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement, in the pit of your stomach and the cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. Contract. Seraphin might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind, in possession of an improved ship too. Suddenly, a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up. You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide she clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry. She smiles a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. Uni, secretive data extractor. I'm Uni. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrapers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. Do I know you? She pauses, confused by the question. No. She pauses again. Karsten, she starts. He'll catch her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Are you sure? She nods. That's what he said. Bullshit. Karsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keep an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So she looks around the passage. Should I meet you at your ship? And you can tell me when you're ready to go? Am I the gullible sort? I mean, I need all the hands I can get. But clearly, she's been lying. And the guy said, keep it between us. So maybe he was referring to her. You were thinking that, Cyrene? What, that I'm gullible? I'm not sure. She looks nervous. Sure, I mean, you aren't sure when you are leaving? No, that she was too convenient. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, but she already knows about the job now. So if I don't take her along, what's going to stop her from finding the next best pirate, telling them this bullshit story? Maybe they're more gullible, and then we have an enemy on our hands. Let's not make enemies. Let's just say yeah. Oh, that's okay. I can wait. She pauses. It's okay. Trudy pushes off and waves. Looking forward to working with you, she calls back as an afterthought. What about the ship? Oh, I'll find it, she calls back, and then disappears down the passage. What a weird character. You watch her go, glad of the contract but nervous too. Will Karsten keep up his side of the bargain if you deliver? I don't know about the sleeper. Seraphin looks nervously out of the rig's window as you finish explaining Karsten's deal, as well as Uni's offer of help. If this job was easy, Karsten would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars. And there's definitely something going on with this Uni girl. He shakes his head. She would be useful, though. I think it's a lucky break. What choice do we have? She would be useful, though. What choice do we have? What if, Seraphin narrows his eyes, we could get the cryo together to buy the feed lines. Why? Carson wants to barter. You're right, Seraphin sighs. I just can't shake the feeling that we're wandering in blind. Plus, Seraphin gives you a sly look. I didn't manage to turn something up in my station wandering. I found a contract board. I did manage to turn up something. I found a contract board at the exchange further in station. He gestures towards Hexport. We take on a job that might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Carson's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. Do we have time? Probably not, but without Cryer for fuel and supplies, we aren't going anywhere. Seraphin sighs. Just take a look at the contract board, see what you think. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew too. Seraphin shrugs. Many hands make light work and all that. Or we stop messing around, we take Carson's job right now and get it done before he can think twice. Seraphin yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do on the drive. Seraphin nods a farewell, heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles lock tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection has broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you are floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There's nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes and you are back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb, and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain. A disconnection between your body and yourself, flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you will have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, or it might persevere for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they are yours again. Time is the only thing you need, and right now it feels like it's running out fast. Yeah, I think we're starting to degrade. That's what was happening in the first game too. That's what we needed the stabilizer for. Now we don't have stabilizer. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. You've unlocked a contract. I'll open the map screen to view it. Contracts are high-risk, high-reward jobs that you and your crew can take on. Contracts require preparation and care to succeed. You'll need to gather enough fuel to travel to the contract, gather as many supplies as you can afford to keep you and your crew going. Look for opportunities to recruit crew temporarily or permanently to help you on a contract. Consider which crew to take carefully. They have different skills and stress resistances, and who you choose can affect the story. Once you are ready, you can select the contract from the map, and then your crew to proceed. All right, we're not gonna start the contract right away. We need to prepare. Time is running out. Carson's supply. We can buy the feed lines, or we can deliver the data core. This is a new place, the contract board. So let's take a look at the contract board. like he suggested. Crew contract recruitment. Okay. Conway signal. Station management have located a Conway signal. They are concerned to see one so close and are looking for someone to disable its source. Disable signal source for 200 cryo. We need to buy the contract? This open contract for the Hexport administration requires a fee to be paid to receive the coordinates of the job. Okay, that's what we're going to do. New contract on map. Is the crew member is still no longer showing up. So let's go to the ship. Shipboard, sleeping quarters, and kitchen. What do we need to do in the kitchen? We need to use one of the supply crates. Let's not do that. But instead use one of the last bad die to get some energy back. Sometimes it is necessary to rest, or at least try to the compact bunks of the rig. This will help you reduce stress when not on a contract. I am on a contract, but let's see if we can still do this. Reduce stress. And now we need to eat. Go back to that restaurant, buy some more food, so we're no longer starving, and end the cycle. So, I think this is a good time to take a break and continue next time. I'll be saving the game. And we're going to continue where we left off next time. My name is Evil Zone. I hope you guys enjoyed this first session of Citizen Sleeper 2. I surely did. I gotta say, yeah, I'm getting the same vibes as the first game. I'm liking it. I'm liking the dialogues, the conversations we're having. I hope you enjoy me reading out the text aloud. I surely am. I'm not the best reader, but I'll do my best. I'm not going to end the stream though. This is the end of the Citizen Sleeper stream for today, because I want to, have nice little portions of about. Originally the plan was an hour, but we've went way longer than an hour. Yeah, the plan is to play it in little 1 hour to 2 hour, maybe 1.5 hour segments where I will be playing the game, and then I can use those to upload to YouTube for other people to come watch it, because I think this is a cool game. Personally, I'm not a huge Let's Play watcher, because I'm more the type of person that actually plays the games themselves. Then again, especially looking at you, Cyrene, I've come to appreciate people playing horror games, because I'm never going to play them. Let's face it. I'm too much of a wimp to play horror games, unless I want to psychologically damage myself and have my viewers on for the ride, because I'm sure they would enjoy it. Me crying like a baby. But that being said, yeah, I know that some people enjoy watching stuff like that, and so I think this game deserves to have a Let's Play to have a Let's Play on YouTube. And so that's what I'm planning to do. Yeah, like Chromapunk said, he mostly watches speed runs because he'd rather play the games himself. Oh, I don't know, Cyrene. I liked the when you played the Aliens game. That was pretty cool. I would never be able to do that. And then you have that procedurally generated game where I think you're on a space station, and you have to like survive. You sometimes find a gun, sometimes you find ammunition, sometimes you run out of ammunition, but there's still enemies blocking your way to get to the next place. Yes, Cosmo Dread. That's what it is. So yeah, I really enjoy watching you play Cosmo Dread. So, but like I said, the stream isn't over. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to change the stream information. Getting the favor of a faction to unlock an engineer. That's what we'll be doing. So I am going to start Elite Dangerous in VR shortly. Let me update the stream information. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put you on the wait screen while I don my virtual reality helmet so that we can actually play the game. So we'll switch to Elite Dangerous. If that's your thing, you can stick around. If you're just here for Citizen Sleeper, that's okay too. I'm not going to judge you for it. But since I was playing this entire time from my spaceship. By the way, this is the first time I'm in my spaceship without a helmet. So that needs to change now. And once I'm ready, we're going to switch back to the ship screen. We'll talk some more. And I'll be right back. I'm taking a quick bio break. I'm going to don the helmet. And then I'll be right back.